Hi, welcome to my video. It's about a short weekend in a country that's celebrating 100 years this year, Lithuania. Hope you enjoy! The only time that we talk about Lithuania is when we talk about the qualifiers for the World Cup or the European Championships. But that would do a disservice to a nation that is supposedly the centre of Europe, whose population is 2.8 million and whose highest ranking in the Eurovision Song Contest is 6. Ranked within the top 50 places to go for 2018 by the New York Times, it however has a pretty interesting history.
We start at the 13th century, where Lithuanian tribes fighting off attacks were united by Duke Mindaugas, who expanded his territory. Following his murder for accepting Christianity, the duchy reverted to paganism. Crusaders led by Gediminas overtook and occupied the duchy before defeated at the Battle of Grunwald by the alliance of Lithuania and Poland in 1410. This alliance, enshrined at the Union of Lublin in 1569, saw a commonwealth lasting a couple of centuries, but successive partitions ended this alliance and the duchy fell under the Russian Empire by the end of the 18th century. Failed rebellions led to Russian oppression until 16 February 1918, when a council in Vilnius declared independence. But it was not that independent. Occupations followed, first by the Polish army in Vilnius after the First World War, and then by the Nazis and Soviets before the Second, resulting in mass deportations and executions. Soviet reforms in the 1980s encouraged populist movement, leading to a declaration of independence 28 years ago. Since then, Lithuania has taken up NATO and EU membership, and now the 50th happiest nation in the world, celebrated its centenary with the hashtag LT100.
My journey starts in Trakai, a town that lies just outside Vilnius. It is surrounded by the bleak beauty of frozen lakes, villages and forests.
A former capital, it was an important military and political hub, and where the Lithuanian Grand Dukes held their headquarters. These days, it makes a nice day out for tourists.
Behind this forest here is the town's biggest attraction, the castle.
From the south, two routes lead to the castle. This is the lakeside route. The best way for getting from A to B is getting your skis on. Unfortunately, no boating today, as the lake is completely frozen. Still, fancy a bit of frozen lake scuba diving? Getting to the castle normally requires crossing two wooden bridges above Lake Galvi. But today, there is option 2. Just walk on water. Outside the castle and between the defence towers, you'll see signs like this, a symbol plastered across the nation. How many years has it been since it restored independence? The castle was built during the reign of Vytautas the Great, but as Vilnius grew, its importance declined and was laid waste to by the Cossacks in 1655. It fell into neglect before its reconstruction in the 1960s during the Soviet era. The first part of the castle is the courtyard with medieval toys like this gibbet, stocks and a massive hamster wheel. A moat separates this from the keep. Inside the keep is a history museum showcasing an array of coins, armoury, chairs and waxworks at tableside. No veneer in here, but we have a moving portrait. And as a reminder of what the castle was like before it was restored to its former glory. Outside the castle are stores, restaurants that sell pasties and broth like this. And you may come across some cutout boards that look like they've come out of Tesco's food stories. Further inland, and you'll come across these houses. They may look like something off grand designs, but these residencies, typically with gable ends and 3 windows, are a mark of the Karaim community. They were once brought by Vytautas the Great and served him as royal guards. These days, it's traffic wardens that guard the streets. Next stop, Vilnius. Vilnius, a capital that 98% of inhabitants are satisfied to live in, is one that looks to transform itself from a sleepy backwater to a city on a charm offensive to bring people and investment in. We start on the banks of the River Neris and a graph showing that over the decade, more and more people have come to stay in the Vilnius area, from over 500,000 at the start to over 1 million for the past couple of years. While numbers continue to grow. To arouse more people to come, this poster of a woman in front of a map went viral earlier this year, comparing Vilnius to the G-spot. G obviously means geography. Look at that! She's literally pulling Lithuania out of Europe. North of the Neris are places with light entertainment, shopping centres. It's a little late to do some window shopping. So here's a Milius sign to keep eyes warm. South of the river is a Gediminas Tower. Like Clifford's Tower in York, it oversees the city's cobbled old town below. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, the old town hosts an array of buildings built with Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque and classical styles. For example, the National Museum and the cathedral. Distantly next to the cathedral is a 57-metre high bell tower. Like in Madrid, don't forget to look down or you'll miss a hidden feature. Here, it's the Stebuklus tile. It marked the end of a 2 million person human chain that linked the Baltic states in 1989. They say that if you want to make a wish come true, you must stand on the tile, make your wish and turn around 360 degrees. To save this trouble, here it is, a 360 degrees spin. Cross Pillar Street and you'll see that the writing is on the wall. And here, this is literally the case. In front of the presidential palace is a reminder of how old the country is. It's a little dark here. Can we turn the sun on? Voila! We can now see more clearly stuff like this. Classical architecture like the Gates of Dawn and art that makes America gasp again. That's another 25% on steel tariffs. Across this bridge is Eusupis. Whilst not on the scale of Paris's Pont des Arts, there are a good number of padlocks missing from the bikes. Abandoned by the Soviets, this bohemian neighbourhood proclaimed itself to be an independent republic in 1997, complete with its own flag, president, and even a constitution with 41 pledges displayed in multiple languages across this stone wall. As part of its proclamation for independence, its inscribed pledges include giving the right to luxuries such as living by the river Vilnela, hot water, and love. Of course, these days attempting to break away from a political or economic union has never been easier. All you have to do is call a referendum, make two choices, remain or leave. And if you want to bolster your leave vote, you need a pledge that has a punch. How about including, we send the EU 350 million euros a week. Let's fund our national health insurance fund instead. And in a country where life expectancy is lower than the rest of the EU, it's got to be a vote winner. Every state needs statues, like this one of an angel, a mermaid.
And above me is a statue of Frank Zappa.
Not exactly erected in front of Joe's garage, but by a car park across the city. After negotiating how buses work with its spinning timetables, you might find your way to here, the TV tower, which at 326 metres is a little higher than the Shard. But it's a tower tinged with tragedy when in January 1991 around 14 people were killed resisting a Soviet crackdown on independence. At the 19th floor is a rotating observation deck cum restaurant where you get a nice little view of the snowy scenery. Hey, you might spot your house from here. A shopping trip gives me an opportunity to buy something unique to this area. Snacks, such as colourful buns and tasty crisps, including chicken wing flavour ones. These will solve KFC's chicken crisis any day, but create an obesity one. Before jetting off, there's enough time to admire the airport. Constructed in 1954, it resembles more of a museum than an arrival hall, and chandeliers above complete its aesthetic exquisiteness. That there concludes the weekend in Lithuania. Thank you very much for watching.